This is the Crookedrivercast, a show we hope will give you a better view of what's going on in Northeast Ohio. This is May 3rd, 2025. I'm your host, Robert, and joining me every week is my friend Tom. Let's see what's going on in the great state of Ohio. Hey, Tom, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm back and refreshed with some travel stories. Well, not really a travel story.
Okay.
Maybe a comparison. Do you remember traveling with your parents and your sister?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
You guys did
I
some
think
long ones.
I think we did the whole like National Lampoon's type of vacation. Both of us in the back of the car going cross country.
Yes, I do remember. I do remember stories of your short shorts sticking to the back seat of the pleather or whatever vinyl it was. Was a little different nowadays.
Yeah,
traveling with kids.
Yeah, there's not. Are the kids playing punch buggy or whatever we played?
No. You generally don't hear from them because they've got the whole world at their fingertips as they drive through the country.
Yeah,
they don't even look out the window anymore.
Yeah, we didn't have that.
No, that's what I try to tell them. I try to give them my back in my day, which was me and my two brothers, me being the youngest, on the hump seat all the way down to Florida. Yes.
Or the hump seat. That's funny.
The hump seat in the 1981 Delta 88 four-door Oldsmobile. Delta 88 Royale.
The first car we did two that went totally around the country, like 4-week vacations in the car, going from the tourist type places everywhere from Mount Rushmore to Yellowstone to Redwood Forest and all that. And they were great. I'm glad my parents did that. But the first one we did in a 1975 Skylark.
Nice.
With another family that was in some kind of, forget, a 1973 Tornado, I think, something like that.
Big car.
Yeah, big car. And then the next one we did was the last one, which I was 14, and that was a 1981 Buick Regal, and that sucker had leather seats, and did that get hot.
Yeah. Well, not today. Not today. No, my kids were in the back of the minivan in their captain's chairs, reclined with headphones on, which great for a mom and dad because not to hear, there yet. It just, I'm hungry. That's about the only thing we heard. But it was good times. I would recommend Lake Norman. The other thing that was new is I got a new album. I got a new band.
You got a new band?
They're not new.
Okay.
Mammoth.
Oh, that's is that Eddie Van Halen's kid?
Yep, it's Mammoth WVH.
Right. Yeah, I haven't heard too much from them. I've seen some live footage. The kid's good. He plays everything, I think, on the albums.
His first album, I think, definitely the first Mammoth. There's Mammoth and Mammoth 2 that just came out about a year ago, which is, I just ordered the CD. It's not on any streaming that I can find. I actually didn't check Spotify, but it might be there. But if it's not on Apple, it's probably not on Spotify either. But I began listening to it on his YouTube channel. I ran across it because some reason YouTube decided to put Jimmy Corrigan's, from Smashing Pumpkins. Is it Jimmy Corrigan? Yeah, his podcast. Because every idiot these days has a podcast, Tom.
Yeah, well,
and yes, proof of it. And it kept throwing them up there for whatever reason. It thinks I want to see it. And then Wolfgang, and I went, oh, this is interesting because I've heard so many things about what's going on and what happened and what he does, and people really giving him a lot of grief. But it's the internet.
Yeah,
it's the internet. But one thing he pointed out in the interview was he didn't say this in this exact way. He said it in a much nicer way, but he basically said, I could be just sitting back, an alcoholic drug addict living off my dad's fame. And
yeah, I think he
doesn't.
Has money.
He wants to be himself. Oh, he's got more money than he's enough to do with.
Yeah.
The residuals on his dad's stuff. Not that he would get that, but it's his family's money, so he doesn't need to work. He could literally just be a meth head and and be fine.
Yeah.
But he's not.
No,
He wants to be himself. Or even, that's obviously the worst, he could just live off of Van Halen fame for the rest of his life. I mean, he would be the ultimate cover band.
yeah. Yeah, I give him kudos for playing. I mean, he's a great musician. He's excellent. But he is it's like if Michael Jordan had a kid that wanted to play basketball.
It's hard.
Yeah, or Tiger Woods has a kid who's going to be playing golf. It looks like. I think he's going. I mean, now you're going to come. That's a. You're filling the shoes, trying to fill the shoes of a legend. I mean, like a living legend, even. Well, not Eddie, but.
And that's what he's trying not to do.
Yeah, I've heard him talk about this a little bit.
Yeah.
But I still think that's how it's perceived.
Oh yeah. And every time he like says, "Oh, that's just a hammer on, and you're not doing anything," he's like, "No, I'm not. I'm just trying to play music, man." Like he even says it in that song. Have you ever heard his song he wrote about his dad, Distance?
No, I haven't.
Oh gosh. So the video is it's all home movie clips from when they took him home from the hospital and as he grew up, and it's just like, holy cow, man! I could barely even think about it now without getting emotional about it. It's just crazy. But so. You want to hear a clip?
Sure.
So this is it's called Don't Back Down off his Mammoth WVH, their first album.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know he sings too, right?
Yeah. I think on the album he plays every instrument.
This album he wrote and played every instrument.
Yeah.
Definitely heavy 90s. Especially when he starts singing.
Oh, yeah.
Breathing in all the madness around you.
Got pipes.
Like it's the end of days. Throw it aside, now you know that you want to. They don't know better anyway. Yeah. Everybody's going crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pick that up.
It rocks.
Yeah.
And the second album is similar. But like he says, it's a little more methodical. He took more of a, says like something about Maynard and Tool or Perfect Circle or something like that. And then the Distance is on the first album. There's 4 or 5 tracks that are just they're and then he's got his videos. He just makes fun of himself a lot. Like he's got this thing going on through his videos of his alter egos. He walks in the studio and there's all these different versions of Wolf, at the boards, at the bass, at the drums, and he plays on this. It's pretty cool. And then he's got a band now. He opened for Metallica for 2 years.
Right. No, I know that. Yeah.
I had no idea. I'm like, that's some serious shit right there. You opening for Metallica. They're not messing around. So
he's a real deal. I hope he's taking care of himself. He's a rather large kid. I don't know.
He's a big dude.
Yeah, like obese.
Yeah, and you could see through either the video of Distance, that music video, or just going through YouTube videos over the years. You can see his fluctuating. He battles with it. You can tell.
Awesome, cool. I got to check that out.
Yeah, check it out. On to the news. Today I've got we got to touch on issue 2. I think we should touch on that. And I got some education stuff, maybe some House Bill 15 stuff. What are you looking at today?
Oh, let's see. I have something that ICE, a couple of sheriff departments are working with ICE, which is pretty cool. There's qualified immunity. They're trying to end qualified immunity.
Yeah.
And
I had to look up what that was. I had to look up what qualified immunity.
I'll tell you what, man. When I first heard it, I was like, "Oh, I didn't even know that existed." But then Cleveland pollution, which that's not much of a story, but I'm gonna kind of rip into Fox 8 here a little bit. And the ban on gender affirming care.
That was upheld.
They put a stay on the ban, so the bill
That's
is back in effect. But
there was an injunction on the ban, and they
Yes.
lifted the injunction, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
and
We'll touch on that a little bit. Okay.
yeah, that's
What
about
else?
it, really.
All right. So Tuesday is the election in Ohio, right? Is that the 6th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 6th. And issue 2 is really the only thing on the ballot besides your local stuff. I don't think there's really anything else there. I figure we wrap back around. I think we had talked about this a couple episodes ago. And what kind of brought it back to the forefront for me was the interview on, was it the Windsor Report? With Ohio Rep. Jennifer Gross. She's a Republican from Westchester. And she was discussing why, and I didn't even pull a clip. I thought about a couple of them, but it's basically she's discussing why she opposed Ohio issue 2. She opposed the bill that put it on the ballot, and now she opposes it. And we're just going through a few of her questions on it, which a lot of it was, who's in charge of the money, who decides what projects get approved, who issues the bond. I mean, even a guy from the Windsor Report was like, yeah, but who's issuing these bonds too? I want to look into that because it.
And Robert, this is exactly why I always vote no on issues that deal with money.
Yeah, and her one of her best points was, we already have an $11.5 billion transportation budget, which conveniently funds roads and bridges and other infrastructure projects. Why do we have to have this extra? So this bill was signed in 1987 by Governor Celeste, and Democratic Governor Celeste, which she points out, but she also points out that 5 or 6 other Republican governors have kept it on, whether signing new amendments or not taking it off during their terms. Who's in charge of the money is a good question. Who decides who gets the projects? All great questions. So I guess maybe real quick, what is issue 2 going to be? So issue 2 issues a 10-year bond totaling $2.5 billion for infrastructure projects like roads, bridges, and water systems to be used across the 88 counties in Ohio.
And this is the second time we're doing this, right?
This is the third or fourth time.
Oh, okay.
It's a 10-year amendment. Yeah.
It was 87, right?
Yeah, 87, 97, 2007. This might be the 4th or 5th time.
Okay.
They renew it every 10 years. And this year they're increasing it from $2 billion or $200 million per year to $250 million a year or $2.5 billion. So she's criticizing the absence of, transparency and questioning whether, who's approving these projects. Are they going towards more larger cities and being prioritized, or over smaller communities is kind of one of her pet peeves, I guess, here. And so what, who, what, when, where, how, right?
Well, okay. So why do we even need this if we have a bill for transportation and $11 billion or whatever it was?
Right. That's her big question, is why, when we already have this. And the people who are proponents of this are saying because there are local governments who have larger projects that they can't always fund on their own or fund in a timely manner on their own.
Right.
And this gives them an opportunity to petition the state and say, hey, can we have some funds to help us get this road done or help us get whatever? And there are projects I've seen around the area, you may have seen them too, where they're tearing down houses and they're putting in more natural scapes because of flooding. They're trying to, control the flood zone. This may be part of that. There may be a small community that can't spend $8 million to tear down 6 houses and spend a year and a half redoing a creek or, whatever. I don't know. Good. These are all great questions. These are what the proponents say. I don't know if that's necessarily a good answer for it, but there are communities that have large projects that are not state funded that may need help. So what are they doing? They're giving them bonds, and the state is covering if the city or county can't pay the bond back, then the state's on the hook for it. It also sounds to me, and it's not necessarily clear, but it also sounds to me like the state is covering any interest. But they're definitely on the hook for any interest and principal if the the cities or counties they can't pay it
back. Yeah.
And it's in the general budget. It's not. And the proponents will also say we're not borrowing money. She is saying what about debt and stuff like that. But then the guy in the Windsor report says, hey, but they're not borrowing any money now because the state is actually our revenue is more than what they projected in the past few years.
Right.
Because of all the stuff that's going on, which actually one of the things we'll actually touch on too is the Intel plant. That's a lot to do with it around Columbus. So what's the answer to her question, I guess. So I looked it up. I was like, who is the overseers? So there's the Ohio Public Works Commission. There's the Work District Integration Committee. There's the project section. Oh, that's the project. It's oversight by the General Assembly and managed by the Ohio Office of Budget and Management. So it seems to me like there's a lot of red tape. So the money from Ohio, I'll read right from Grok because I asked our friend Grok, and he says, or it says, the money from Ohio Issue 2, which authorizes blah, 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 is managed and distributed through the Ohio Works Project Commission, OPWC. The OPWC administers the State Capital Improvement Program, the SCIP, and the Local Transportation Program, the LTIP, which allocate funds to local governments for projects like roads, bridges, waters, and who are all these people? How much do they all get paid? It seems like there's like a lot of levels of red tape.
It seems like there's a business around this.
Yes. And then Jack Windsor, I think that's his name, Jack Windsor from Windsor Report also asked a great question. Who issues these bonds? And what is their connection to any government officials? Because the people issuing these bonds make money off of them. That's the part of issuing bonds in the bank. Right. It's profitable. So state oversight, what does it say about state oversight? It's, again, the General Assembly. The bonds are backed by the state tax revenue and debt repayment. The principal and the interest is built into the state budget and managed by the Ohio Office of Budget and Management, just the General Assembly.
It's funny because last time we talked about this, you kind of convinced me to vote yes on it. Yep. And then during the week, a week we had off, I was kind of thinking about it, and I was like, I don't know, that doesn't feel right to me.
Yep.
And then this came up, and I was like, oh yeah, gut feeling was right.
So I'm sitting in traffic in Lake Norman, and I'm trying to figure out why the hell I'm sitting in traffic. And then I look to each side, and I say, and because this is what made me kind of think about it, and then the story popped up, and I started digging into it, and then I listened to that same interview. So the state or city or counties approve these huge condominium complex going on either side of the road, but they have yet to approve the widening of the road, which is why I'm in a 4-mile backup for 12 minutes, when I'm trying to go 4 miles. It kind of brought it all to me, I'm sitting in traffic thinking of things, and this pops in my head because I'm sitting in the road that's backed up and, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I get it. And I was pretty surprised and happy that there's a Republican out there saying, hey, why do we need this?
Yeah.
And originally in 1987, they proposed it because of, I guess, our roads and bridges were in dire shape. So this was a 10-year like emergency kind of plan to get things back up and running, and it's been like 40 years.
It's 30 years. It's kind of like the way government goes, right?
Yes, once you get it started, it's never going to stop because all these people at the Ohio Public Works and all these acronyms, the OPWC and the LTIP and the old whatever else, they all got to keep their jobs. Mm-hmm. And maybe they do other things too. But there's somebody there that would be cut if this was not passed.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not the point. That's not why we should be voting yes for any of this stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And
we need to get rid of this.
But yes, and the sad thing is it's going to pass.
You think so?
It has to do with roads. It says roads, more money for roads and bridges, and I think it'll pass. Yeah. In lieu of knowing what the hell it actually is, people just go, it's roads and bridges. Click yes.
Yeah, I'm going to have to.
Probably why it's passed.
I have to go, Rob.
I know. You know what the woman said, and clip we had. If you don't go, well, no, I didn't play that clip, but she said, if you don't go vote, you can't complain, which I don't necessarily agree with necessarily, but yes, we do have to vote. At least give it a try. Let's give it a try.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can push it down, because what she also brought up, and if you remember, she had a constituent that she said not in her district, but had brought up the point, like, here's this bridge that is now for 10 years, it's been on the bad bridge list, whatever you call it. And now they just lowered the weight or increased the weight restriction to lowering how much you can drive across it, which affects this person's business. And it's been 10 years.
Right.
And she's like, well, this is now, so do cities know about it? Is it, and that's what she brought up, is the funding just going, is it being prioritized for the big cities like Cleveland and Columbus, Cincinnati? And if you drive through Columbus, there's a ton of construction on the roads going on. So not to say that's necessarily tied in, but
right.
I mean, they need to, because it's expanding pretty big, but still always looking for more funding. Yeah. So I would probably change my vote on that.
Yeah.
And see why we need it.
Yeah, I'm going to vote no. I saw a quick, I think Jack Windsor actually put it up on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it now.
Yeah.
He put up a poll if you're voting for yes or no on issue 2. And I think it was 70% were saying they're voting no. But
well, yeah,
it's
but that's
also
his podcast. That he
it's also his fans.
They're informed a little bit more than the general. So it is not a tax increase. I want to touch on that, but taxes could go to, if we didn't spend that $250 million a year for the next 10 years on roads, because we already have an $11.5 billion budget, where could we take that $250 million? Maybe education. That's the next, the big topic that's going on with the budget right now is the price of education.
They're making so many cuts, Rob. What are we going to do?
Cuts. The attack on education. So, of course, they had protests. We could get into that. This topic is pretty big. I've been trying to wrap my head around it for quite a bit, for the past week, really. And I kind of come back from vacation thinking I really want to touch on this, because the budget's coming in here in a couple months. We still have a little bit of time to influence our Ohio Congress critters. And I figured we can look at a couple. So Channel 3, WKYC in Cleveland, had a little week-long expose, whatever you want to call it, on the school funding. And they had a couple of decent stories on it. And they had like one every day. It was like about 5 minutes. This one I couldn't really cut up. So I think we can maybe we'll try this start and stop thing where we'll start playing. It's about a 4 or 5 minute video, which is pretty long. We may not get through all of it, but I'd like to, because there's some stuff in there that's pretty interesting, and the way they're framing it. On vouchers. So the big deal is vouchers. As they increase the budget for school funding for public schools, they've also increased the voucher program by actually more than they increased the general school funding. So I guess we'll just dive right into it.
Sounds good.
Start going into it. Let's see.
Tonight, in our continuing series, The Price of Education, the funding battle for Ohio schools, we're examining the impact of Ohio's school voucher program on public education.
Education Station reporter Danielle Wiggins speaks with advocates who believe public dollars should follow students to private schools, and a public school leader who argues the program is siphoning critical resources away from the state's public classrooms. Just
pause it for a second. Our first stop. Just for transparency, one of the reasons this is important to me, at least, I think it should be important to most people, even if you don't, like somebody as yourself who doesn't have kids, because it's costing you a lot of money, and they're changing things. I take advantage of the Ed Choice program for both of my kids to go to private school, just so everybody knows.
Mm-hmm.
Continue.
15-year-old Jasmine Morgan has always excelled academically.
Grades have never been a problem with Jazz. She's always gotten very good grades.
But for Jasmine's mom, Tiffany, their public school system failing to score a high grade or rating on Ohio's school report card.
Stop, because Maple Heights City Schools is where they're talking about, and they're showing the report card. And this is from 2018, 2019. Why is it so old? I don't know. Maybe it's more of the time frame this woman was pulling her kid out. Or so achievement, competent grade, F. Progress component looks closely at the growth that all students are making based on their past performance, is a C. Gap closing. The gap closing component shows how well schools are meeting the performance expectations. I mean, maybe I need to go back to school for our most vulnerable students in English, language, arts, math, education, English, blah blah blah. Proficiency. D. Graduation rate. Well, actually, not bad. B. But if they're not getting the achievements or they're closing the gap, how are they graduating? Improving at-risk K through 3 readers, D. Prepared for success, whether training in technical field or preparing for work or college. The prepared for student component looks at how well prepared Ohio students are for all future opportunities. F.
Wow.
Yeah. This is, again, in 2019. I may have gotten better, so give them benefit of the doubt.
Is a problem.
I believe at that time, Maple's always had like a D in improving rating for education. And so I wanted my daughter to have a better education.
For years, Tiffany personally covered the cost to send her daughter to religious private schools. That changed after she enrolled Jasmine into their neighborhood public school for 7th grade, then qualified for Ohio's Ed Choice Scholarship, covering the cost of sending Jasmine back to private school.
So this single mom looks like took her own money, and because she wanted her kid to have a better education. So good for her.
Yeah. Don't hear enough of that.
Why did she take her out? I would like to know that. And the fact that they skimmed over that makes me really want to know why. Like, did something happen in her job, or did she not have the funds anymore? All of a sudden she decided to take him, or, some people do that first 5-6 years in a private school and then put them into public. It's not a bad strategy, because you get them some good roots and a good base, and then throw them to the wolves. But I don't know. It just feels like if there was a story, there's got to be something, the reason there that she didn't. And the fact that they didn't say anything kind of bugs me, but we will continue.
The dollars should really go to the educational institution that's educating the child.
Aaron Churchill is the Ohio Research Director for the Thomas B. Fordham Institute. The organization advocates for school choice.
There will always be a public school option. The private school option is there for families that want something different, and the state has chosen to support that choice by providing the scholarships.
Ohio's voucher program began in the 90s as the Cleveland Scholarship. The program uses public funds to offer students within the Cleveland Metropolitan School District a scholarship to attend private schools. In 2005, students living in areas with low-performing public schools also qualified for vouchers under the Ed Choice Scholarship Program. Ed Choice later expanded to award money based on household income. The scholarship pays up to $6,166 for grades K through 8 and $8,408 for high school.
Those are important numbers to remember. $6,166 for K through 8 and $8,408 for grades 9 through 12. That's the max you can get.
Mm-hmm.
One pot of money. And when you begin to take from that pot of money, that decreases the money that the public school receives.
Dr. Marnisha Brown is the superintendent of Richmond Heights Local Schools.
We were a district that was really being impacted by vouchers.
What does professionalism look like at school?
According to Brown, the loss of funding from vouchers has affected class sizes, program offerings, building maintenance, and staffing at Richmond Heights schools.
Okay, so it's the voucher program has taken away from the Richmond Heights School District. Not sure how that they figured that, other than they are thinking, or they are saying, because of the increased money going from the state budget into voucher program, that they're assuming all that money would have went into the public school districts, and that's
They're assuming that.
and they haven't seen any. How's the voucher program affected them in any way? I don't see it.
Well, would there be some students that would be going to public school instead of private school, and they'd have that money, more money? I don't know. How does it? I don't know how this exactly.
So I think it would affect them. They said class sizes. So as a parent, class sizes is a big deal, because if your kid's one of 42,
Yeah.
as opposed to one of 25, you're going to get a way better educational experience with the lower class sizes. So if kids are leaving the public school system to go to private schools, that would take the class size down?
Down. It should be taking it down, which, unless they're laying off teachers, increasing the class sizes that way.
That's good point. Good possibility. I was going to bring that up too. Yes, that could be possible. But again, her whole concept is that the voucher program has taken away from their school system, and that's not necessarily true. It could be.
The voucher program should be making public schools better by making them compete. I don't know what's going on.
Exactly. And that's kind of my thing. It's not quite there yet. We'll expand. We'll just start.
She says the district is the lead plaintiff on the
There's a
Vouchers
lawsuit.
Hurt Ohio lawsuit, where a coalition of more than 300 public districts are suing the state to declare the voucher program unconstitutional.
The state constitution does not allow for the use of public funds for private schools.
It doesn't?
That is in our state constitution. And that is one of the key components that we're arguing in this voucher lawsuit. Folks are, in fact, rewriting the Constitution.
Are we? Are we rewriting? Folks are rewriting the. She's not a lawyer, by the way. I don't know if she's a superintendent of. She's definitely not a lawyer. She's a doctor, though.
Yeah, but still, lawyers have to take this up.
So, what's in the state constitution? What is she talking about? Because they do throw up a clip of the state constitution in this video. So I pulled the state constitution. It says the General Assembly shall make such provisions. So this is part of the law, the 1997, or was it 97? Yeah, 1997, and Supreme Court ruled the state's reliance on local property taxes is unconstitutional because it creates inequities in the school districts. And basically, they're saying urban and especially rural districts cannot fund like the wealthier districts because they have higher property costs, higher property values, so they get more property taxes. So, and the reason they said that is because the General Assembly, or the Constitution says, the General Assembly shall make such provisions by taxation or otherwise as, with income arising from the school trust fund, will secure a thorough and efficient system of common schools throughout the state. Okay, so that's where the Supreme Court said, well, no, it's up to the state to create these schools basically and fund them. It's not the local districts that should have most of the burden. Mm-hmm. And they also bringing up that the poorer communities can't compete or can't fund their schools well enough like the wealthier ones because you just got lower property values. And it seems to me what they're asking for, because it says the reliance on local property taxes created unconstitutional inequities. That those anything with equity in it always there's a red flag that goes off between the school districts. So what I think some are saying is, how do you put this? In baseball, they do this. It's profit sharing. So the Yankees and the Red Sox take a portion of what their money, and they send it to the Major League Baseball, and they spread it out between all the other teams. I think that's what a lot of these proponents, or rather the opponents of the school voucher program, are expecting, to take from the Solons or the Beechwoods and give them to, name some rural county,
Right.
or Cleveland or whatever, to balance out. And no, I'm not in I'm in a crappier school district, and I'm saying no. If that's the advantage of living in a nicer neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
They have nicer schools.
Yep.
So what she's bringing up also is the religious factor. So after the rest of this says, and you tell me what do you think this says? She says they're not allowed to give money to religious schools. And here's the quote. Here's the text from the Constitution. But no religious or other sect or sects shall ever have any exclusive right to or control of any part of school funding in the state. What do you think?
That doesn't give them that doesn't say that they don't get any money.
It states they shall never have or shall ever have any exclusive right to,
right,
or control of.
Yeah, exclusive.
So it's not exclusive, and they have no control over it. Here's why.
Right.
And I know this because, again, I take advantage of this. They give me the opportunity. I can take that money anywhere, to any private school. Here's the key to what you were saying earlier, to any private school. What I want them to open it up to is everybody gets a voucher, and you could take it to any school.
Right.
And then see what happens. I get how that would scare people, but that's when you're really going to have schools competing.
There are problems with that. I mean, we can get into I don't have all the knowledge. I have a good friend who's his wife's a principal, and he's a physics teacher, high school teacher in Florida, so it's different. But when they do that, it seems to a school will start getting all the money and start a department of like where they get a science department that's incredible, and they put it all into that one department. So they get awesome students going just for that there, but then the rest of the school is kind of not getting
forgotten.
the best stuff. Yeah,
it's forgotten.
So there's probably a way to do it. I don't know if it's the exact same situation, like that, but
yeah, I don't know how. I wonder how Florida funds their schools, because it's really because 50% of funding currently is off of local taxes, levies.
Right.
And it hurts.
I don't know.
The smaller communities.
I talked to him a few months ago, and he was saying it opened up competition between schools, but it wasn't on the up and up. It wasn't like the whole school was, competing. They were just specializing and getting a lot of money because they were getting such great students going there, getting great grades. But then the rest of the district was kind of, or the school, or I don't know, but they were forgotten basically. So it wasn't like on the up and up. It seemed like to me.
And
I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Maybe
I know what you're saying.
It opened up other things that maybe you don't see until you do it.
Yeah. I just for clarity, again, we take advantage of this this Ed Choice program, and I would gladly give it up if I can get my tax dollars back.
Sure.
Or have them go to my local roads or the local bridges. Hey, issue 2. Hello, issue 2.
It's if I had kids, I'd be taking advantage of that too. I mean, you have to.
And that was my problem with is I'm paying twice. And some people I would talk to would say, well, that's your choice. Is it really? Depends on what school system you're in, really. And in my school system, it wasn't a choice for me. And for years, we did it on our own, and we made the sacrifices to do it and to finance it, like this woman did. And when this Ed Choice came up, I looked into it because I'm not one for government programs, but it's a scholarship, and I already pay for all this. Why should I have to pay twice? That's why I looked at it, and maybe that's wrong. I don't know. But if it's all about money, if it's more money you need. Here's my experience. Why are many of the public schools or why are many of the private schools cheaper than the average Ohio student costs? Why? Like
Per
by
student,
a lot.
right?
Yeah. So if you're going to an average high school, you're probably looking at between $12,000 and $15,000 a year,
right,
for a student. Elementary, you're probably looking at. It could be between $3,000 and $6,000. Really depends. What's the average? The average is $16,000 per Ohio student.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Why is a private school, and not every, there's private schools that are $30,000 a year.
Oh yeah.
For high school, there's $20,000 elementary schools a year. But on the more reasonable end, why almost all of them? And these are really good schools. Why are almost all of them cheaper? All right. So let's do a little bit more of this because I want to get to one more point.
Recently, Ohio significantly raised the family income eligibility cap on
Also
Ed
gives
Choice
more
expansion,
background,
dramatically increasing participation in the program. Families with a household income at or below 450% of the federal poverty level, which is just under $145,000 for a family of four, will receive the maximum scholarship. Families earning more are eligible for a scaled back amount. In fiscal year 2024, Ohio spent about $405 million on Ed Choice expansion for close to 87,000 students. That's an increase from the more than $124 million the state spent the previous year for close to 23,000 students.
I think it was a move to just say, look, our school system is built around students. It's built around parents and their choices. We want to make sure everyone's kind of in the pool.
But according to Brown, putting private schools in the state funding pool will drown public schools.
Drowned.
Either there's going to be a break in how we're funded from the state, which is designed by the state constitution, or we will shutter.
Oh,
if we shutter,
they're going to close.
The students that choose us, a great amount of them have nowhere to go.
Yeah, so they're going to shutter. There's only two options: either give us more money, cut this program over here, or we're going to close. Richmond Heights School District is going to all the schools are going to close.
Schools have been saying that for as long as I've been alive, at least.
It's an attack, Tom. It's an attack on public schools.
Yeah, okay. You're going to shudder them.
I'm watching reports after report of this, and they keep saying 4 times the Supreme Court has ruled it unconstitutional, and no one is doing anything about it. And then when they start doing something about it, everybody goes, "Why are you making all these changes?" So I did. Here it is. So got a little clip from the end of one of these. The 4 or 5 exposés they did on, I keep calling it, but they're just doing a week-long thing on the price of education. And this kind of points out or emphasizes what I'm saying is they're saying, why don't you change? We need to change. And then when we start to change stuff, everybody's going, oh my gosh, it's change. So I just like to listen to this little exchange. This is at the end of the report of one of the first reports. And this is Channel 3 at the news desk, kind of wrapping up the report. She gives a little more background on what's going on.
Now, the Ohio House this month passed a budget that has big impacts on school funding, such as more money for school vouchers and how much extra cash are schools allowed to carry over into the next year instead of giving it back to local taxpayers. The budget is now under consideration by the Senate. And so our series continues tomorrow as we dig deeper into that fair school funding plan that I mentioned. We'll hear from 2 local districts that have relied on this fair school funding and how they are now facing a future without it.
This is such a complex topic, and everybody who pays property taxes wants to know where their money is going. And it's finally like starting to put those pieces together, I feel like.
Has there been a time in recent years where it seems like a seismic shift in education funding?
You think?
Yeah.
Can you remember a time we had this much change going on?
Well, when it came to this Ohio Supreme Court ruling on how schools are funded and ruling that it's constitutional 4 separate times. And there still hasn't been an answer. That's one of the reasons why we're doing this series, to help people understand where the money is going, what the controversies are. We're not taking a side either way. We're showing the pros and cons, and let voters decide, because it really does make a difference. And I feel like a lot of people don't really want to wrap their brain around it because it's very complex, but it really is consequential.
What are you talking about? They're currently coming up with a different system. Oh, this drives me nuts. I just sit there and watch it. It's like, So what is going on with Ed Choice? So they threw some numbers out there. One of them was 2023 was $124 million for 22,600 students. And an increase in 2024 from 400 to 405 million for 86,800 students. It seems like a lot, man. It really does. I remember $16,000 per student in Ohio average. I think Cleveland is like 18,000.
Get out.
Yeah. And they're giving away. Remember, the max you can get is half that.
Right.
86 or a little bit more than half that, or depending on what school system you're in, it could be less or more, or whatever. So in Cleveland, it's less than half. Okay, so they gave out.
So they're still getting the half.
What do you mean?
So 18,000. If you want a school voucher, you can get, let's say, 8,000.
Yeah.
Okay, but
that's the max you can get for high school.
But the school's still getting the other
the other half of that. No, so you can't take this voucher to a public school, as far as I understand it. It's
right,
only
but I'm saying the other
school.
half.
No, the other half of the. So if you go to a private school with this voucher, anything over that $88,000 is up to the parents to cover.
Right. No, but does the school still get that half? The
public school. The public school hasn't. I mean, no, they're not getting deducted by a student and $8,000 less. Their funding hasn't stayed the same, going up like we're talking about.
Right. Okay.
So the school levies, that whole thing hasn't been touched. Their funding isn't based on how many students they have. It's just based on whatever they say it is that they figure out that they need. So if 500 students stop going to that public school system, it doesn't change their funding. It doesn't go down. It stays the same. Okay.
But they're going to shutter.
So I think what she's saying is the private schools are so much better. We suck so bad that we have no chance to even compete. That's what I heard.
That's about right.
But think about
it is true, right?
It is true. I've talked to parents of kids in public school, so I hear various. I know what it was like when I was in school, and I have had 10 years of private school. And what I can say is parents are much more involved in class sizes are way down. And it's cheaper.
Right.
It's cheaper. So the math. 2023, $124 million for 22,600 students. That is $5,486 per student. So that means that the parents of those 22,000 kids are paying for the other half of that, or whatever they're getting. Because there's a lot of the private schools, especially the religious ones, they'll take donations. They have a fund for they'll give you $500,000. If you could do this essay, and they'll do all kinds of stuff. Okay, so that seems like a really good freaking deal. Okay, but in 24 it went up. How'd they do in 24? Well, I mean, generally governments don't do better when they get more money, right? $405 million for 86,800 students is $4,665 per student. They made it even better. They got more. They got more out of the money. More kids went to school. They gave them more money, and the average. I guess maybe I shouldn't be taking so much from these numbers, but it's just I'm looking at. The average is $16,000 per student. The state is giving out $405 million. And so it's really costing, on these 86,000 students, it's costing the state $4,665 instead of $16,000. Now, again, the whole $16,000 isn't the state. 50% of that is the local government,
right?
Of that $16,000. So $8,000 comes from $8,000 of that $16,000 average comes from your local. And if you take some students out and the money doesn't go down, I guess you have a little more resources for the kids you have there. Now, I guess if you get small enough, you may have to reduce the size of your school or become a better school. Just saying. I think it's a pretty good deal. I think it's, but again, if we can possibly take that, maybe we take that $250 million or $150 million out of that $250 million from issue 2 and give it to the schools. And then the other $100 million would come back to us. Yeah, that's that. What you got any questions, any concerns, any more things you want to complain about?
About
I'm just
that?
going through my notes. Yeah, I'm just going through my notes, make sure I hit everything. It's all about money.
Questions. I mean, it's all about money, but it just sounds like you got school supervisors and stuff that are inadequate. They're not doing their job, and they're just whining about this.
I feel for some of them, but also in some of these reports, they were saying, one of the downsides of this is they may have to dip into their reserves. That's that 30% they want to cap them at.
Right.
That's the whole thing. I've been kind of telling people that, hey, your local school, what? Yeah, most of them carry about 25 to 30% of their budget into the next year. They're like, wait, what? Why are they always asking for more money?
What was the school superintendent making in Cleveland? This was probably like a half a decade ago.
Oh
maybe
gosh, I think the guy in Akron was making $200,000 a year.
Yeah, I think the one in Cleveland was like probably 5 or 6 years ago was making $250.
Yeah, it's got to be making over $3 now at least.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not saying they shouldn't be.
No,
I'm not saying that job shouldn't pay that, but that job should require somebody that can do their job.
Yeah, are they worth it?
That salary should be.
There's a lot of responsibility, so I get it. I just can't go. I can't leave this topic without saying at least this much, and that, or maybe leaving it with this, is the city of Cleveland complained that they needed better schools, and they basically went around and tore them all down in the last 10 years and rebuilt them all. I don't think the grades have gone up much at all.
Are there more kids going to school? Yeah, I mean, you're talking about Cleveland, right?
Yeah, city of Cleveland.
Yeah,
I mean,
like, come on.
Most cities I've seen around the area are just building these huge palaces. They're beautiful campuses. They're literally campuses. A lot of the areas are putting high school, elementary, and middle school, if there is one, all on the same campus. This, that, and the other thing. But just keep this in mind, people. Some of the most expensive schools in the country have buildings 150 years old on campus, and they learn just fine in a building that was built in 1910 or 1970 or 1980 or 1990. You don't need a brand new building to learn, because I currently send my kids to a school that's been there more than 100 years, and to another one that was built in the 70s.
There's a new building going up.
Yes, it makes me feel like my money's going somewhere, and like in somebody's pocket. So, for example, some of the levies this time around are $200 per year per $100,000. So if you bought a house, if you're a retired, you're now going to start paying, and your house went from $150,000 15 years ago to $320,000. You're now going to pay another $600 or $700 a year. How are you going to afford that?
Yeah, you can't. I mean, the
system.
I don't know how retirees do it that are on a fixed income. I mean, the
system's broke.
Yeah.
And as we're trying to fix it, they're complaining that we're trying to fix it. I get it. Maybe you don't understand it. You don't agree with it, but come up with another way. They just want more freaking money.
I'm thoroughly depressed now that I'm getting closer to retirement age.
You gotta have a side hustle, man. Gotta have a side hustle. My dad did it for years.
Yeah.
And really it's really good for your relationship too, because the two of you in the house all day long.
Well, you gotta have
you might as well make money while doing it.
You gotta wake up with a goal in mind, whether it's whatever, if you're retired. You can't just wake up and sit on the couch and watch television. That's boring.
All right, I just bitched for like 20 minutes. Sorry. One more clip. One more clip because of protests.
Oh, protests.
Protest clips. Protest. Would you go protest clips? This is just showing how I'm not prepared. Hold on. There it is. Show clips. Come on, it's just one clip of the frickin', you can't get one clip right. All right. So they're protesting in Ohio and Columbus. And the video, did you see this story by chance?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Let me see. While it's playing, I'll pull up and send you a pic. And no, wait, I'll just explain it. So it's raining. And what is the problem? I think they really get to the bottom of it in this clip here. What? Go ahead.
It's the Fox 8 thing.
This is Fox 8, I believe.
Okay.
Shoot,
I clicked on the link that you got there.
Yeah, that's Fox 8 one. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. All right. So, I guess I said they really get to the bottom of the problem here. As you
who
can see
paid for those signs?
Exactly. Did you see the pile of them?
Yeah.
It's a massive pile of signs that says "Stop the fighting
for public education." And
that was
there's
the
a
first
pile
thing I
of
thought
signs.
of.
There's probably about, I'm going to say there's a few hundred signs piled up and probably 30 people there. Who paid for these signs?
Yes. And, interesting enough, also brought up about the issue too, is who's paying, because he had brought up Jack on the interview. There's lawn signs for issue 2. Who pays for the lawn signs and why?
Oh, that is a good point.
Yeah, if you want to advertise something, that means there's something to be made off of it, because you're not just, I guess maybe there could be some philanthropist or somebody who's just donating, I guess. But that was a question. Usually when you're putting signs up like that, there's a reason.
No, that was a good point. I remember that came up. But this is ridiculous.
Yeah. So it was pouring too.
When all those signs are going to get burned. I mean,
well, now can imagine those signs sitting there in the rain and somebody going to pick them up an hour later and they're just falling apart.
They're going to fall apart.
They're going to fall apart. It's going to be a pain in the butt. Anyway, so they asked some protesters to really get to the bottom of what the problem is.
Other educators I spoke with say it's important for teachers to speak out because they feel the whole system of education is under attack.
We teach kids who are immigrant students. We have LGBTQ students. We've got kids that feel like they're not welcome in our classrooms.
Not welcome.
We can't have it.
We're here because we feel like education is going the wrong way. And it has to stop.
It's got to stop.
It can't be about an agenda. It can't be about a party.
LGBTQ.
It needs to be about kids, period.
President Trump has called the U.S. Education Department wasteful and feels it's polluted by liberal ideology. Many people I spoke with say that the power should be in the hands of the educators, not the lawmakers.
You don't say.
It's all Trump's fault.
You don't say. So you think the decision should be in the the hands of the educators and not the lawmakers. So you want more government. That's what they want. They want it, but they want more federal funding. They want more state funding. They want more government. Oh, okay. And it's Trump's fault. Trump. Yeah. So again, couldn't go without that.
That was a good one. Yeah.
So I just bitched for
I just
a long time.
I still want to know who's funding this.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And that picture of the sign surprised that they even put that in the I think they put it there to like see how many people were coming there. But I think most of those signs didn't get used.
Well, you got to get suspicious when it's the same sign over and over.
And it wasn't the only professionally printed sign there.
Yeah, I see that. I can't
mostly professionally printed signs.
Yeah, so.
And I've never gone to a protest where they've given me a sign. I haven't gone to that many protests, mind you, but I have gone to a couple, and no one ever gave me a sign. There was nobody giving sign. We had areas where you can make a sign. We had poster board and markers and sticks. Actually, we didn't have sticks. We weren't allowed sticks because the cops were afraid we were going to beat each other with them or something.
Right. Wow.
So what do you got to bitch about?
Actually, I don't have much. Okay, I'll start with one. And it's not. I'm not bitching about the. Let's see. Okay, how do you feel the Cleveland air pollution is? I saw an article come up.
I didn't think it was a major problem. Is it?
Well, I didn't think so because
the picture looks horrible. They put in.
Yeah. But what drives me nuts is the article in this Danielle Langenfeld, the reporter or whatever you want to call her. She's an activist. She's nothing more. Or she's a propagandist. This is all propaganda. And it just annoys me that they didn't actually report on this. All they did was just spew the propaganda that Kezia Ofuso-Atta, advocacy director for the Lung Association. Unfortunately, too many people in Cleveland are living with unhealthy levels of ozone and particle pollution. This air pollution is causing kids to have asthma attacks, making people who work outdoors sick and unable to work, and leading to low birth weight in babies. We urge Ohio policymakers to take action to improve our air quality. Now, this all stemmed from the American Lung Association putting out a report, State of the Air. So every year they put out a report called State of the Air. And Cleveland went from 54th worst to 9th worst. Which, when I saw that, it made me just kind of go, what the hell? Because there's less people driving, there's less factories. And when I drive to work now in the mornings, I can actually see the lake from about 12 miles away, where, in the past you could see it, but it was less often.
Okay.
So to me, the air looks cleaner. Now, I think there's more pollution, as in because there's more people, there's just more activity. So there's more particles in the air, but not from factory thing. Factories and brake pads and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, good point. But like we talked about in a previous episode was the e-check. Now, one of the reasons they want to get rid of it is because the cars are so clean. They don't need it. They're saying it's not needed because the cars are so much cleaner. So
I do think there's I'm not opposed to, having clean air. That's retarded. But this report is what drove me nuts, because the reporter and this is News Channel 5. No, Fox 8. Sorry.
Fox 8, yeah.
Yeah, Fox 8 and Danielle Langenfeld. And they put, American Lung Association put out this report. So, it didn't make any sense. Why did we drop from 54th to 9th worst? Well, as a reporter, shouldn't she read the report and then say why we went that? No, there's just a damn quote from Kazuya Afuso Ata.
Ata, yes.
Asking for policymakers to take action. Well, I read the report, part of it, just the part about Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
And you know why we went from 54th to 9th?
They changed the scale?
Nope.
Oh.
Remember, this report takes it goes from 21 to 23. So 23, it was awful. And do you remember why?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
So the Canadian fires. The sky
That's
was
what this
red.
picture was taken. I bet.
Yes.
You bastards.
So I'm not.
Is this like Trump showed up at the Pope's funeral in a blue suit, even though he was asked, and they only showed the close up of him and 20 other people in black suits, and when you pulled back in the actual photo, there was like half the people were in blue suits, or a quarter of them were blue. Yeah, same freaking.
Well, it's the same thing as you could go back to when he was feeding the fish, and he whatever.
Omitting is lying too.
Yeah, so they did no reporting here. All they did was just spew the propaganda that the American Lung Association puts out there. And not that they're bad. I don't know anything about them. I'm just saying if you're going to report on this, you should tell people, well, we went from 54th to 9th worst because of the fires.
Because of the fires in Canada, 4,000 miles away.
Well, that year, in 2023, the West Coast got real clean. Everything blew over here from those fires. So New York, New Jersey, us, and I guess the heat in Texas was pretty bad that year. So they had pretty bad air that year. But they don't tell you why. They just tell you that it did. So, and they make it sound like, we need more regulation. It's like,
it's an attack.
Yes.
Like there's an attack on public funding.
I did, I just kind of wanted to see where American Lung Association gets their money, and most of it's a lot of it's donations, and there was one other thing, I forget what it was, but they get government grants, so they just want policymakers to take action so they can get more grants. So
yeah, and that is a hidden problem with our system, is especially in science, is the grants, because if you say the wrong thing and make the wrong department mad, you may not get your grant next time. So, as a lung association, I don't want to put anything on them, but really,
I'm not blaming them.
Transparency is needed, at least.
I'm not blaming them. I'm blaming the reporter.
I see what you're saying. I got you. So report wasn't anything bad. It was just the way this reporter is.
The report was truthful.
Is shaping it.
Yeah, the report was truthful.
They're omitting the reason and making it sound like a huge problem, and that's a lie, in my opinion.
They didn't do any reporting. All they did was just tell you what the lung association said.
They just said we got worse, and oh my gosh, what are we going to do about it?
Yeah, so it's like all you needed was 5 minutes of research and just there was fires, so we don't really need to worry about anything.
It still would have been a story. It's still something to talk about.
It would have been a great story, but this person has to, if you ask me, they're an activist.
Yeah, activist. Yeah.
Yep.
Sounds about right. All right.
So that was my one bitch, I guess. I do have a good story, though. I think it's good. So I got a clip here. There are sheriff departments in Ohio joining ICE. And
nice.
I think it's kind of cool because you know what? They're making money from it too. So I'm going to play a clip here.
Please.
Maybe. Let's see.
Well,
in Mahoning County, jail space is something they have a lot of.
We had, a couple of hundred extra beds here.
That surplus is exactly what Sheriff Jerry Green decided to capitalize on.
As soon as Trump got elected, I contacted ICE in Cleveland and Homeland Security in Detroit.
What made you decide to reach out?
One of the main drives is that it's the finances behind it.
The county earns $125 per day for every ICE detainee held in its jail. They got the approval just a few weeks ago. Now local inmates and ICE detainees from across the country are in the same cells.
For the entire county, we book about 450 inmates a month. Over a 6-month period, we saw 6 illegal immigrants.
Mahoning County is just one of many sheriff's offices working under contract with ICE. Others, including Portage County, have agreements under the 287G program.
It is basically a statute that allows federal immigration authorities to place enforcement of immigration matters on local and state police officers.
The program includes 3 models: jail enforcement, task force, and warrants, essentially training officers to act as ICE agents.
If you are arrested for something already, we're going to ask you about your immigration status when we book you into the police station, right? Normally that would not be a question.
The Portage County Sheriff's Office wrote,
What a crazy idea.
Why wouldn't that be a question before? And there's a little bit more to this.
Yeah.
On Facebook the following: although Portage County may not be a border community, the impacts of crime do not stop at border towns and in many ways impact communities throughout our country. News 5 reached out to Sheriff Bruce Sikowski multiple times. His office did not respond. Meanwhile, Mahoning County already has 77 ICE inmates in custody with the capacity to house up to 100, potentially generating nearly $4.5 million annually.
It enables us to either pay for what we're doing right now, pay for initiatives of the sheriff's office, or even to put in a rainy day fund.
The sheriff says that expanding the power of their deputies isn't necessarily...
This is awesome. So we have
what a capitalist, man.
Yes, exactly. I loved it.
We got empty beds, and they're giving us how much?
Yeah. Right
Nice
now,
incentive.
Butler County, they're doing the same thing Mahoning is. They're putting them in jail and collecting cash for that, arresting them. Portage County, I think we have a link here. Actually, hang on a second. Let's see if I
it.
I downloaded their
agencies, pending agencies, participating agencies.
I got it right here. It's an Excel file.
Oh.
So, yes, Butler County, Seneca County, and so some of them are just like Seneca County is just they're warrant service officers and task force model. They're not. Maybe they don't have the room.
They may not have a jail. Yeah.
Yeah. Portage County has they're not doing the jail, but they're doing the task force and the warrant service. And Butler County is doing the jail and the task force. It doesn't look like they're doing they're not doing warrant service. So maybe they just don't have enough people for that.
It looks like they got like 3 different. They got jail enforcement model is designed to identify and process removable aliens. That's a refreshing term on a government website. Removable aliens with criminal or pending criminal charges who are arrested by state or local enforcement agencies. The second one is task force model serves as a force multiplier for law enforcement agencies to enforce limited immigration authority with ICE oversight during their routine police duties. And then warrant service officer program allows ICE to train, certify, and authorize state and local law enforcement officers to serve as to serve and execute administrative warrants on aliens in their agency's jail. So it's like almost like a tiered thing. Like you can get help a little bit more, and just go full bore and get trained and basically be authorized to act as an ICE agent until one arrives. Which is this something new? I wonder.
No, they've had this since 2017.
Oh, since the previous Trump administration.
Yes.
Put it in.
But and I think Butler County did it back then, but now it seems like there's going to be more agencies doing it. Yeah, I was surprised not to find Geauga on there because I know they had a couple of big arrests in Geauga for some illegal aliens, but I don't see them on the list, which maybe they just don't have the room for it or something. But I think they're working with ICE. I'm just surprised they're not on the list.
I'd imagine. And some people may think, whoa, why are you talking about this in Ohio? I don't know if anyone's aware, but for 4 years, solid years, they shipped these people, millions of people all around the country, including Ohio.
Yeah. Ohio is one of the largest, has had some of the most imported people.
Tom, they're eating the dogs, Tom. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the people are eating the cats. They're eating the
eating
dogs.
our pets.
The best debate line in history.
Oh, that was good.
So yes, so Springfield, for example, Springfield, which is over by Dayton, Ohio, there was like 20,000 in a 2-year period, 20 or 30,000 people put there by the Biden administration, which has permanently changed that community forever. Those people most of the people are not going anywhere.
It was only a community
killed their economy.
It was only a community of like 40,000 people.
Yeah,
and
I think it was 60, and I think I remember.
I think it's 60 after they added the people.
Maybe you're right. Yeah, yes, they increased it by half. That's what. Yeah, that makes sense. And a third. So that's what I was thinking. A third of the people there now are non-English speaking people.
Yeah, and they're wrecking cars because they have no driver's license. They get a car, they drive it around, they run into things, and then run off. There's all kinds of weird things happening there. I'm not saying that that community needed. It wasn't a very
flourishing community. It could have used a little influx of some hardworking migrants or
that's different. That's not just taking that's just not taking people and putting them there they're not looking to be hardworking.
No.
They're just looking for
free
handouts.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Free stuff because they were told, come here and get free stuff. Now, as horrible as America is, I mean, the war on women and racism and all this stuff, and yet these people just keep coming in hook or crook, man, risking their lives to get to this horrible place called America. It's always astonished me.
No, who's saying it's horrible except
I mean the left. Let's just put it that way.
The far left,
the libtards.
Liberal retards.
Yeah.
They're the ones crying about things, but
so this is something that's, again, I've kind of pushed in my industry and what I do with unions. I think unions are some of the best avenues for legal immigration in this country because they can, if they were to cater to an immigrant population, I think it would be a great service for the unions. First of all,
it would be good. It would be good for the unions. It might be good for the citizens, for American citizens.
Yeah.
If the unions actually maybe took let's say an active role in this, they could actually provide better pay, which wouldn't lower our pay.
Correct.
So yeah, I never thought about that, but that is, but I still don't think there's enough. Well, okay, you said legal. Yeah. Okay.
To promote legal, to help and give opportunities for legal immigrants to come here. Well, what I mean is, so for years, it's happened. You look at history. It was the Italians. It was the Irish. It was, the Polish, right? Your father, right?
Yeah.
Come in here, and those the second and third generations that have been here forever, they're not working in the factories.
No, the thing is, it was different though. There was like there still is a wait list to get into the country if you're doing it legally. And I don't know if you need to be sponsored anymore, but back in the day, it was like if you were coming to this country, you needed to be sponsored by a family that was here already. And they were responsible for you, meaning that if you couldn't afford a housing or if you couldn't afford food, they were responsible to take care of you, not the government.
Huge change. Yeah, absolutely.
So, that is that's major problem right there. Like my father came here, he came here on a Sunday and he was working on a Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but those are the people we want. That's I guess my point, that the unions can attract the people we want. We want immigrants in this country.
I agree. I agree. I just
and that was kind of my point. Was we're not anti-immigrant.
Right.
Like we wouldn't be here if it wasn't. Almost none of us would be here in this country if it wasn't for legal immigration.
Well, you just have to stop this influx of people.
Yes.
I mean, it's been stopped pretty good now, but now you got to get rid of the bad, variety of immigrants, if you want to call them.
The million or 2 million of, there's at least that many out of the 15 or 20 million that have come in the last few years. Build a big wall with really big doors. That's what I say. Because we want people. Yeah. We want the right people. Just like when you go to Mexico, you want to become a Mexican citizen, you have to prove to them what you're going to bring to the Mexican economy.
Well, right. That's how it was here too.
If you cross the border into Mexico, you will go to prison. They will put you in prison in Mexico for illegally crossing the border. There's no here's a voucher.
Unless you're traveling to America.
Oh, yes. Yes. They come across the southern border of Mexico and they're okay with it as long as you're continuing to go through until someone says, hey, what about some tariff? Oh, no, forget it. We'll stop the caravans. You don't have to barely even say the word tariff and they stopped all the caravans.
Right.
I bring this up to my union friends and because I go to see some construction unions in my work and I've been bringing it up to them. You guys need to have it. It's not going to be the Polish, the Italians. It's the South America. That's where all the legal, those people that we looked at years ago from Italy and from Europe, they're not coming there. We're looking, so you have to have Spanish speaking people in your union, right? So when they come in, they feel comfortable, that kind of stuff. And they're starting to open their eyes up because what I'm finding is some of the non-union companies, 5 guys worked for 15 union guys.
Yeah.
They don't complain about weekends. They want to work Sundays. They want to work overtime, and they work a lot faster.
Yeah, we just got to make sure they're getting paid what they ought to be paid.
That's the thing. They're not.
That's the part. That's why
not to go too far
you have to be careful with that to keep the wages where they should be. I was going to say, like, Europeans don't need to come here like they used to. Like, no. My dad came here; they were coming from a communist country.
Yeah.
And you had a lot of
similar reasons they're coming from South America. It's not communism, but it's
the same thing. They want a better life.
Yeah.
But you can stay in Poland now, or many other countries. You can stay there and have a great life. Back in the day, it was impossible because there was nothing there to make your life better. But nowadays, they don't really need to. If they're coming here, they might come here. I see some coming here for work a little bit, but mostly they come here to get experience in things and school.
Yeah, and
then they go back because you know what. You could basically have the same lifestyle there that you do here. I mean, there's things I love about America, our freedoms, Bill of Rights, but I don't know. I mean, some of these, Poland's pretty awesome.
Americanized, isn't it? It's pretty modernized.
Well, it's modernized, but they're very they're a proud nation. So it's they don't have the Second Amendment. You can have guns there, but you have to have permission, basically.
Old habits, old habits.
Yeah, it's a small.
But all of Europe is like that too. That's very consistent for Europe.
I would say they're a little bit better than a lot of Europe.
Yeah.
So
Europeans. Speaking of Poland, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I was say, speaking of immigration in Poland, they were one of the best.
Oh yeah,
they didn't have and I remember. I don't know somebody from the Polish government. I don't remember there was president. It was somebody high up, and somebody on an American news station, and they were telling them, trying to tell them how racist they were because they didn't let any immigrants in. And he came back with, when was the last time you had a terrorist attack in Poland? Mind you, this is the time that Europe was being flooded with immigrants or illegals from Middle East, basically.
Spain,
and 95% male. In their 20s, which, interesting. Where's all the women and children?
Yeah.
So they didn't allow any of them, and they had 0 terrorist attacks. And that's
I don't hear about any Sharia law in Poland anymore.
No, definitely not.
They're pretty outstanding when it comes to that. All
So that's
right.
good. I like to hear that. That's awesome. Ohio's getting right on board and making money at the.
Yeah, we need more sheriff departments doing that. God, I would love to see Cuyahoga Sheriff Department.
Yeah, we just work on getting it to an elected position again. That would be a good start with that. But still, that'd be a cold day, I think. I think my next would be let's touch a little bit and revisit House Bill 15, which I think we had touched on a little bit a couple episodes ago.
Right,
yeah.
Go. Can we come back in 2 minutes?
Yeah. You got to need a break.
Yep.
Break time. And we're back. Thank you for the reminder.
I was squirming.
Yeah, I understand. Me too. I was getting there. And for some reason, I forgot. So House Bill 15 is HB 15. What is it? It is basically, we talked about this on the last couple episodes, maybe ago. It is the final nail in the coffin of HB 6, which was the corrupt bill that put people in jail and stuff like that for First Energy, for energy. Basically, they threw a dollar something on our monthly bills to cover decommissioning of the nuke plants, and the way they got done in the bill was by bribing Republican congressmen, Ohio congressmen. So this is they repealed a lot of it, and this is a final bill, repeals the rest of that along with a couple other things. So the big thing that it takes away, the last thing it takes away is it takes away what they call the Ohio Valley OVEC. Oh, crap, they didn't put it's Ohio Valley Energy Commission or something like that. And there's $80 million being put on everybody's bill every year, it sounds like, that they're going to take off. And what this does is supposedly subsidize the Ohio Valley power plants in the Ohio Valley, a couple of them that are not, quote unquote, not profitable by First Energy. But in the same hand, what we talked about too was First Energy has already asked for the regulatory commission that regulates them. They've asked them for an increase. What we speculated because of this bill that was going to pass and strip that subsidy away. Okay, good. I mean, if they're not profitable, make them profitable. I mean, by giving a handout by the government, it's not. If you can't get enough money for it, then change the plan. I don't know, something. It's welfare for the power plant is not what it should be. So that gets taken out. So that's good. So you should see less fees, but I don't think you're going to see a lower bill. Right. I think First Energy is going to increase the bill to make it profitable. Again, like I said, ends the scandals from HB 6. And so a couple of things it does. Mandates a market rate offering that forces energy companies to compete like phone carriers to deliver fair pricing. And it's going to require an up-to-date apples-to-apples website to enhance transparency, letting Ohioans pick the best energy deal, whether solar, gas, or nuclear. So I was like, we have nuclear plants? Didn't we just talk about the scandals bill that made us pay for the decommissioning of the nuke plants in Ohio? So I guess, is there other nuke plants in Ohio? There might be.
I don't know.
But there's definitely no solar in Ohio. I mean, very little. So whatever. So that's what it does. And the other thing that stuck out to me, the last thing was it's going to fast track power plant approvals. Some within as little as 45 days if they're in certain, what they call them, brown areas. They don't, whether they have a lack of power shortage.
Where is that in Ohio at this point?
So there's Ohio's looming energy shortfall projected by PJM Interconnection, which is a company that did a study on power consumption in Ohio, and they are saying by 2030 we're going to be energy.
Is that because of like the plants going up in Columbus?
Yes, that's my opinion of it.
Yeah,
that's a big part of it. That's what I'm seeing, at least personally. So yes, and it even says it right here. I should continue reading my own notes. Driven by surging demand from industrial users and data centers.
Yeah, the data centers are going to suck up a lot of energy.
Tom, you would not believe the amount of water and energy these places. They're just massive structures. It is crazy.
Yeah.
Let's see. If you look at energy users, we have the big industrial users present and these future data centers are coming in. And House Speaker Matt Huffman from Lima saying that we got to do it. You got to they want to take them off the grid, these large companies, and put them on their own grid, basically, to lower costs and make it more reliable. It's kind of what he's kind of talking about. I don't know how foreseeable or how feasible that is, but
that makes sense though.
So yeah, and I know there's literally a power plant going up. I drove past it, and I know it's a power plant because you can see the stacks just sticking out. So Ohio State, as you drive past the freeway in Columbus on the freeway, Ohio State has their own power plant going up.
No kidding. Yeah. Okay.
Because they don't have enough power and steam for the campus buildings. Yep. And what I read was they are already talking about a second one. And it's literally in downtown. It's like on campus. And they got like big.
It's pretty small. It's not a big footprint then.
It's the size of a decent building, 5 stories high.
Oh, okay.
No, it looked like two smokestacks, they're not smokestacks, but 2 stacks, which would mean two units in there burning natural gas.
Oh, okay.
No, it's quite a bit.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Ohio State has to do that, but
yeah,
maybe they want to get off the grid. They want to have their own grid so the plants that are coming in aren't going to be.
I don't know if it's as much of a want as much of a necessity for them at this point.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And then they can control their own, stuff. And it's Ohio State. They've got plenty of cash.
And they got more cash than they know what to do with.
Billions in the bank in endowments, unused endowments. Tens of billions.
God forbid they lower the cost of education.
No, I think someone said Harvard could give everybody free tuition for like 5 years, and it wouldn't even cover $1 billion of their endowment or something crazy like that.
Well, that's the way it's going to go, though.
They got 40 billion or 50 billion sitting in the bank.
Yeah, but that's the way it's going to be going, though.
What do you mean?
With the lack of kids being born, colleges are going to start. They're going to start closing their doors or doing some other type of
baby boomers,
offering something else.
Yep. I guess. Well, there's so many colleges, man. So many schools.
I was listening to this one stat. I forget where it was from, but baby boomers were like 70 million. Gen X was like 50 million babies. Millennials 40. No, hang on. Gen Z is down to 40, but it was a drop from like 70 for Gen Xers.
Wow.
And millennials were somewhere a little bit closer to Gen Xers, and the Gen Z is like way down. So I don't know if it's going to happen in my lifetime, but I would say in the next 20 to 30 years, I guess that's
restructuring.
My lifetime.
There'll be restructuring.
There's
just not going to be as many students. It's just
I don't know. There's a lot of college. I don't think college is going to be we're getting back onto this issue.
Yeah, I was just going to say. I'm like, hey, if there's less students, maybe you need less money. Oh, is it? No.
Yeah. That's a different discussion. Okay.
Yeah. So House Bill 15 seems to be pretty good. It does some good things. Is your power bill going to go down? Probably not, because you're just going to get an increase from First Energy.
Yeah.
So next, what do you got? We'll go one more thing, and then we'll wrap it up.
We got one more thing. Hey, okay. I could wait till next week if you want do you know what qualified immunity is? Yeah, this is quick.
Do it quick. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to play a clip. It's a couple minutes long.
Okay.
When an Akron police officer caused an accident that crushed 4 cars, Stephen Rockage expected some sort of remedy.
I could not believe my eyes, man. I was just like, what the heck?
But he didn't get it. He told us in January that even though the officer was found liable for causing the damage, he would be the one paying the price.
The towing that I had to pay out of pocket was over $600, and then my car was worth over $5,000. So that's all out the window.
State law prevents government officials from being held liable for civil damages unless the victim can prove that the officer violated their constitutional rights, which activist Mari Rivers explains is an uphill battle.
It's hard to kind of prove that exact because you would initially need full evidence, and with redactions, with opinions, it's so hard to get it exactly right.
This is why she's collecting signatures for the Ohio Coalition to End Qualified Immunity and is working to get a constitutional amendment on the ballot. The proposal would take away this protection and allow victims to sue for damages. But Ohio Fraternal Order of Police President Jay McDonald argues that this is necessary to shield officers who are just trying to do their jobs.
If I am worried about whether or not I'm going to get sued and lose my house and put my family at risk, then I'm also going to be worried about whether I should proactively police that neighborhood.
But when it comes to car crash damage, who should be paying for that?
Well, right now there's existing frameworks to pay for that. And we don't need a complete expansion of litigation rights that could cause taxes to go up, could cause cops to cease working in this profession.
Rivers said current legal options tend to be ineffective.
The city will fund and ensure what they want to.
But this won't just hurt police, McDonald warned.
Children's services workers, teachers, custodial people at
children.
schools.
Attorney General Dave Yost has also been fighting against the amendment. But recently, a federal court forced him to approve the petition so that Rivers and others can start collecting the 415,000 signatures needed by early July.
Where do I sign?
Do you want to sign that? I don't know. I
don't.
never knew they had immunity. I always thought the city paid for it. Like let's say a fire engine, backs into your car or whatever. I always thought the city covered that. I just assumed that. I guess they don't.
That's what should happen.
That's what should happen.
I don't think the fire guy driving the fire truck or the cop should be responsible. He's at work. He's driving if I'm driving a company vehicle and I crash into somebody, it's the company's insurance that takes care of it.
Right, but what they're advocating for here is what their petition is for, so you can sue the cop.
Oh, no.
So I don't like that.
No,
I don't think,
not at all.
Yeah,
but the fact that a city cop can smash into you and total your car, and they don't have to pay anything or very little, if any, or just make it so hard that you don't even going to bother. That's crap.
Yeah, I did a tiny bit of digging on this, and really the only thing you could do is hopefully you have collision insurance, so that your insurance, the city might pay for your deductible.
Yeah, that's
maybe. Crap. So yeah, I think this is. I don't think this.
Maybe this goes too far.
This is going too far. Yeah. Maybe it's a big ask.
Yeah, maybe they're asking big, and then they come back. But the city, oh my God, it makes no sense.
I thought this, and I started thinking, why did I assume the city?
Yeah,
right. Why would the fire engine driver or the ambulance driver? You can't sue those. They're working. You can't. If what? Pardon me.
Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah, you can't go after the people working, trying to do their job. I mean, if an ambulance driver backs into your car by accident, it's kind of like, well, I'm not going to blame him. Who knows what the situation is.
Once again, a government agency is not performing like a business would.
Exactly. So I am I'm in the middle of this. I think
above the law. Above the law, that's what I meant to say. Sorry, they're acting above the law, not like a business would have to act.
Right. So, and I started thinking this is like the funny thing. I just assumed the city pays for damages whenever something happens, and I think the only reason I thought that was from when I was a kid that watched 48 Hours when Axel Foley ran all those cars in
Beverly Hills Cop. Beverly Hills Cop.
Beverly Hills Cop, right?
Yep.
Not 48 Hours. Yeah,
Yep.
Beverly Hills Cop, where he ran into all those cars and caused all this damage, and the chief of police just reamed him a new.
Because he had to pay for all those cars, and that may be true in that city or in some cities.
Maybe it is. I don't know, but that is I started thinking to why did I assume this? And that's the only thing I could think of. I mean, stupid Beverly Hills Cop. That's right. I thought it was 48 Hours. Beverly Hills Cop.
And on an entertainment note, I have seen the updated one. It was actually pretty good.
You know what? I fell asleep. I got to give it another chance because I fell asleep on it.
It wasn't great, but I think more of it was nostalgic for me to see Eddie Murphy actually doing adult comedy again instead of animal movies. His movies were great. Still, always the animal, but
they were great. I mean, he's such a talented guy. I do wish he did some more adult comedy again, but whatever.
It's hard to do those stand-ups when you have a 10-year-old.
So I'm going to exactly. I guess so.
Anyway,
this qualified immunity. I don't know if I agree with this.
I see what you're saying. No, that's a good point. It's a very good point.
And that was from News Channel 5, Morgan Trow. But
it's not the cops. That's he's there doing. He's hired to do a job, and he's in the process of doing that. Unless there's something weird going on where he was doing something that wasn't authorized, or I don't know.
If the officer
there could be some exceptions.
If there are exceptions right now, if the officer was acting recklessly or outside of protocol, the department is liable. But how do you prove that?
That's what they're saying.
The department's never going to say, "Oh yeah."
It's in their best interest not to let that happen because it's going to hit their budget.
Right.
It's all it's everything's money based.
So
good story, and let's keep an eye on it because
I want to see what happens with that. I got one more thing. Quote of the week.
Oh yes.
I'm going to play this for you. Tell me what you think.
As far as I'm concerned, you randomly kidnapping folk and you throwing them out of the country against their civil rights, against their constitutional rights. And frankly, how would they feel if some other country decided that they were going to just start throwing people randomly in our country?
the ever so brilliant Jasmine Crockett.
Just randomly. We're just randomly throwing people. Oh my gosh. Wait. I don't. Oh, the last part threw me, but the first part was what constitutional rights do they have? They're not citizens of the. What due process? Hilarious. Well, they're talking about due process with some of these people. What due process are they owed?
But what was it? Didn't Venezuela just release all their prisoners and tell them to go to America? Was that Venezuela or was that
many countries in South? There's a lot of South American countries because it's cheaper.
So how would you
saving money? How would you feel? This actually happened
to us,
and they loved it.
Yeah, so that's Jasmine Crockett. She's a rep from Texas. Keep an eye on it for her because she's actually, I think I think she wants to run, or she wants to move up into the Democrat Party.
Please, it'll help the show.
You know what's funny is she's got this, inner city affect right now. But when you actually heard her talk, she's like a college grad. When you heard her talk before she got in, before a couple of years ago, she talked totally straight.
That's her.
Yeah,
I've seen videos of her, the way she talks now, and then in front of a crowd, she's much more urban. Let's just put that.
The urban, inner city,
a dialect, and somebody else. I thought somebody else did that. Oh yeah, Hillary Clinton was doing that too, wasn't she?
Well, I mean, AOC does it too.
And Republicans do it too. It's not just
they all do it, but it's happening less and less because of the internet. But
because I still, it's awesome.
It shocks me when a younger person does that anymore because they should know better.
Yeah.
Anyways,
that's great way to end the show. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for another good show. I think we can wrap it up there. I'm good. You're good. All right, everybody. We will talk to you next week. See you.
Peace.